Alright, a little disclaimer before the video. The. How do I put this? So, the gameplay you're gonna see is pre recorded. I got home last night and I was recording it, and I figured, you know what, this is gonna be good. This will work out. So, yeah, what you're about to see is recording of what happened last night. And, I play on PC and everything, so it's gonna look a little janky. There are gonna be some parts that don't render in quite right. If you play PC and you have a computer somewhat like me, you probably already know how it's gonna end. At the very least, my PC seemed a little bit better doing it last night than it did yesterday morning. If my friend King was here, he'd probably tell you what was going on. But at the very least, I figured I'd go back to trying to do what I originally wanted to do for YouTube, which was make gaming, uh, anime shows, movies, and all that kind of just a lieu of reviews to basically do. And even though I haven't actually finished the game, I have played through it in two separate accounts now. Not two separate accounts, but I've used two separate characters. One of which I ended up deleting yesterday, but it'll stop. So, go ahead and show the gameplay while I give my review. So, first of all, let me just say a few things. First of all, I love the game. For anybody who For anybody who's been here for a while and has heard me talk about Monster Hunter, y'all know that I mainly got into Monster Hunter back when it was Monster Hunter World. I wasn't really much into the older games. Most of them I didn't even know about. Uh, One of my other friends tried to get me into the what was it, Freedom Unit, something like that, back on the 3DS. I played for a little bit, tried to give it some kind of chance. Didn't really work out for me too well. So I kind of just set it down. I didn't think too much about Monster Hunter. When World came out, I took a look at it. I thought, no, I don't think I'm gonna really do anything about that. Uh, then after a year goes by and I hear all this stuff about some glitches, some weird stuff, bad internet connections, I was kind of happy. But then I went to GameStop one day that same year, and I was kind of looking around, seeing what there was, looking for something new to try and do. And I just saw Monster Hunter World right there. So I looked at it, and my first thought was, I probably shouldn't get it because I wasn't much into the other games. But yeah, let me go ahead and waste some money, see how I like this one. I heard it's supposed to be different from the older ones. So yeah, I bought it for the Xbox. I took it home and I started to play it. I ended up loving it. I didn't even think much of it. But yeah, so Monster Hunter World was kind of my first genuine experience with Monster Hunter, and I fell in love with a lot of the monsters that I saw during that game. And what I love the most about that game, I've said it multiple times, especially on Twitch, is the fact that in that game, even without the ghillie suit, you can still walk up to a monster and just casually hang out with them. You're just kind of right there, being all friends and everything, and yeah, it's nice. It's kind of like a little nice experience, and then you can just kind of follow them wherever they go and just see how they are in their little daily lives. Of course, there are times when you can't stick around them for too long because even Rathalos will end up getting annoyed and try to kill you after some time. But still. Let me see my phone. Okay, that's something. Anyway, so yeah, there was that. Then I went on to I went on to Monster Hunter Rise. I didn't catch it. I went into Monster Hunter Rise, and you know, I thought, hey, this is supposed to come right off of Worlds and everything, so it's supposed to be just as good. And I liked it. I played it on the Switch because I saw it as that's the console it was supposed to be on. Not much of the I didn't really wait for it to be on PC. I just thought, I'll go ahead and play on Switch because that's where it's mainly advertised. That's where a lot of the gameplay is coming from. So that's what I did. And I didn't see any problem with it. I mean, to me, the game is just a game. Like, I don't really care too much about the graphics unless, like, how do I say? Like, it's really janky. I can only let it get away with this in Wilds a lot of times because the game is amazing. The last two games were amazing, and even though the characters look a little out of whack, it's not too bad. It doesn't get too far to the point to where like it breaks the game or anything. Like sometimes a character will look like uh, Lara Croft in the old PlayStation games, the old Polygon games, but it's not bad. After a little bit, it turns back into like actual smooth characters and everything. So I don't worry about it too much. But yeah, with the Rise, I didn't care too much about a lot of the graphics. They looked amazing to me, honestly. They looked really good. I mean, it could be because right before that I was trying Unite. I think it was. It was another Monster Hunter game for the Switch that came out before Rise. It was supposed to be, I think, like a remaster or something. It was kind of like game mechanics and everything before Worlds came out, so it was supposed to be more to the original games. But yeah, I didn't care too much for that one. I know about the box art monster and everything for that one, and I'm kind of happy they brought it back for Rise after a while because that made me feel like I didn't miss out on too much. I mean, don't get me wrong, Veltrax was still a mother, still. And yeah, as you saw with my character just a little while ago with the feet, yeah, like I said, the game for the PC is kind of weird a lot of the time, but still, I really much enjoy it. I'll say another thing that I really enjoyed about this game that you'll probably see here in just a moment is the fact that you can kind of mix and mash a lot of the uh, character outfits together to try and make your own kind of style. Of course, a lot of times in the past, that's always been a thing where you can get a monster part from one to another and everything. But with the fact that you now have a chance to do both male and female, you can make it look a whole lot better too. Because the female outfits, the say, like the starting outfit for the female looks a whole lot better than just for the male. But I want to say that's only because I've never been too much into the like hood up kind of look. Like if I ever have a character wear like a hoodie or a jacket or anything like that, I usually would rather see them like have the hood down. Sorry, but yeah, it's not only that; it's also the fact that how do I put this? When I make a lot of these games, I kind of enjoy the thought of this being my character, this being somebody that I personally made, somebody that I personally brought into this world, and I kind of don't want to. I kind of don't want to wear something that's gonna cover them up a lot of the time. Yeah, this is a very bad. That was a very bad. But yeah, so a lot of times I usually won't make like a helmet or anything for the characters. or I usually won't try to make something to kind of like hide their face. But if it goes well enough with the theme I want to go with them, like like the other character that I had, it was supposed to be like well, I call her Mononoke because I can't put Mona for some reason. uh, First of all, uh, if you try to use the word Mona, Mona, for some reason the game thinks that it's supposed to be some kind of inappropriate wording, so it'll censor it for some reason. I have no idea why. But sorry, I just woke up not too long. I'm still trying to wake up. But yeah, for some reason, the word Mona will get censored. I have no idea why. So I ended up putting down Mononoke because that was supposed to be the theme behind my original character. Because me and a friend of mine, we talked about. I talked to her a long time ago about like my VTuber's backstory and how he's a demon lord, how he rescues a lot of these children and everything, and a lot of them become like his children. Like they willingly become his daughters, his sons, and all this kind of stuff. And one of them was supposed to be a wolf girl. And when I asked her what her opinion on the name would be, she said, "But it is what did she say? Monoka, something like that. It was supposed to be like a shortened version of Mononoke. And if anybody out there who doesn't know uh, Mononoke, y'all really gotta watch Studio Ghibli. Princess Mononoke is a really good story from that, from all that. Um, but yeah, so I tried to put the character in here because it being a wolf child, it's supposed to be like a really good hunter and everything. And I tried to put her in, give her a good look and everything. I don't know why I want to go back to the fact they censored the name. That is really weird, especially with the fact that that name isn't too far uncommon from a lot of video games or even stories. So it's weird they would actually ban it. But anyways, I put her in the game, and I covered her face with the bone helmet, the one that covers basically everything. So it really would fit the character in that kind of sense. In this one, I wouldn't cover his face. I would ask like, why do I keep saying ask? I would add a face mask like how my VTuber has right now. And yeah, honestly, I think it still works out. And like I said before, I know technically in every Monster Hunter game, you can always mix and mash a lot of armor pieces, and like to me, it wouldn't look all that right a lot of times. But I feel like in this game, it works out a little bit better. Sorry, like I said, I'm just waking up. Let me get myself a soda. Anyways, so yeah, to put it simply, I like the game. The character is fantastic. And let me just say, I love the fact that they give the character a voice in this as well. The voice acting is especially fantastic to me. I know a lot of people kind of don't like it because, you know, the games have gone on so long without ever having a voice actor for the main, for like the player character. And a lot of people are thinking, oh, this is terrible. This is like really bad and everything. it's not really, because a lot of games do have the main character actually talking and all that. It was just for a long time Monster Hunter went without it because, well, Monster Hunter you don't really need a lot of dialogue. It wasn't until, I want to say maybe until World did such a thing would actually be considered, because with Worlds there were a lot of characters that were actually talking to each other. There was actually a lot of dialogue between many people going on. And then with Rise, they kind of kept that up. So more than likely, after Rise, after they got done developing Rise, they probably saw that there was no actual like feasible dialogue for a lot of the main characters. So they kind of did that here to try and see how it would go. In my opinion, it's actually fantastic because now I can actually hear my character talk and actually say things, which I very much enjoy. And speaking on that note as well, anybody out there who hates, no, I'm pretty sure it is good to curse right now. Anybody out there who hates the fact that the cats can talk, y'all are really being petty. Because let me tell you, nothing can be worse than fucking Navi from the Monster Hunter story games. That voice was annoying. But the ones in here for these cats is perfectly fine. I don't see anything wrong with it. Like these cats are fantastic. But yeah, no, a lot of people just really hate uh the fact that the cats can now talk. And yeah, I get it. Again, it's one of those things where these are animals. They've never had the ability to talk before. They never need the ability to talk. For a lot of people, it was kind of like how do I say? For a lot of people, it was the fact that you would know what the cat is saying without it actually needing to say a word. I understand that. I get it. That's how a lot of even regular pet owners in the real world feel. But it doesn't make a game bad. It doesn't make anything wrong. It just adds a little more to the game, which honestly I kind of enjoy myself. Because when when I first heard it, for a moment I thought, okay, this would be fantastic. This will actually add like an extra layer onto like what's going on, the things that are happening, and I kept it on. I listened to a lot of what the cat was saying during the first playthrough with the other character. I did not hate it. I was actually laughing at a few things because, again, this cat was actually being a genuine hunter. It wasn't trying to be something weird or annoying like Navi from the story games. It was a genuine Palico cat. And that's what actually made me happy about the entire thing. Uh, let's see. So with the game, I only got to about with the first playthrough. I only got about to God. Where is it? The second big spider. After you go to the God, I am losing my mind when it comes to names. The Narsakugas? No, no, not Narsakuga. I can't remember the name right now. Basically, the large spider that was down in the cave and everything when you're looking for Nata's home, and you came across the more like sensible Woodwood. That was where I kind of left off on the first playthrough. The second one, I don't even know if I'm going to get to it at this point now. But with this one, it's kind of the fact that I'm sorry, give me one quick moment. Sorry about that. So that's kind of where I left off on the first playthrough. And like I said, the game was kind of buggy a lot of times, but it wasn't too bad. There was only maybe one time that I actually had to like restart it, and that was when I was going to this forge area. Uh, if you know the area, you more likely know what I'm talking about. But it's a place where there's, I want to say, three different kind of clans that are there. And during my first playthrough, it was extremely buggy to the point to where like me as well as probably four, maybe even five NPCs just kept walking. Like we were practically lemmings. We practically would have walked right off the cliff. It wasn't fair to the fact that there was a bound area. But yeah, so the game was extremely buggy at that point, to the point where I had to kind of exit out of the game and then come back in. And then once I did, I heard a little bit of a different dialogue. Like I heard a little more to it than what there was. I feel like that's gonna be kind of what you would expect from a game just coming off of the sales. Like the moment it hit the shelves and everything, everybody bought it. Everybody already pre-ordered it. Everybody already got what they wanted, and at this point, it's gonna be like extremely buggy, and a lot of it is not gonna be fixed until maybe I want to say a year. Because, like I said earlier, Wilds or not Wilds, World was World had a reputation of being extremely buggy for over a year that it was out. And during that year, it always seemed like a bad idea to play because, you know, it was just, it seemed like a lot of those bugs made things unplayable. But once it finally calmed down, once everything finally settled about it, and almost all the patches were made, the game was finally, uh, the game actually made a lot more than they originally did. And to my mind, that's more likely how this is going to be played out. And for anybody who wants to know like what about Rise, what happened to it, a lot of people hate that game. A lot of people hate that game. One, because it was only on Switch for the longest time. I think it took like maybe a year, maybe 6 months for it to go on to being PC. Even then, a lot of people hate the fact that they have to mess with a lot of settings in order to actually get it to look nice. Because, it was originally on the Switch. So getting it onto the PC after so long kind of made it more of a port than anything else. And it's like I said, it's not that the game was bad or anything. It was kind of the fact that one, the story was unfinished. Like anybody who was playing it will finish it within like maybe a few days or so, and that was it. They'd see the ending, they'd see that there was supposed to be like somewhat of a continuation, and then think like, oh, okay, well they might come out with the DLC later on to try and do something about it. Where the fact it was just an unfinished game. And then once people heard that it was supposed to be, like I said, it's still first thing in the morning for me. Once a lot of people heard that the game was technically unfinished by the credits that they saw, or by the ending that they saw of the two maidens, a lot of people got really pissed. They reasoned with themselves thinking like the game was already done, that if anything there was going to be DLC, maybe there was going to be something else later down the line. But then when they heard that, they were just like, oh, okay, no, fuck it, this thing wasn't even done right. And, I'm already hearing a lot of people have finished this game. That a lot of people have played it all the way to the end, they've seen the end credits roll and everything. And that was going to be something that I was going to talk to King about. Because if this turns out to be the same way as Rise, where the first ending isn't the real ending, that wouldn't be so bad in my opinion. Because right now the game is still buggy. Right now the graphics are still bad in a lot of places to where characters' hair would kind of like not render properly. So if it turns out that the game is unfinished, if it turns out that the game uh, still needs something, then I would actually make the wait a lot better. So that way they can actually do a lot of these patches. That way they can kind of do a lot of the characters right when they load in. Because right now you're seeing it pretty nicely. Like, there's not too much going on with the characters and everything. But that's only for the cutscenes. The cutscenes usually have the characters look really nice right off the bat. And I'm guessing that's only because, like, it doesn't have to load anything else. The cutscenes are already pre-synchronized screening to where everything is made, everything is there. The only thing that would ever have to really be coded in is the personal character. And the personal characters are kind of already rendered into the scenes once you make them. Once it reads the once it reads the lines of code that were personally made by you by just simply making the character, the cutscenes are already done at that point. Like, you can only imagine that if somebody tries to go into the game without actually making the character, more than likely they're gonna get something bland. They're gonna get something kind of offsetting for a character in the cutscenes. But I don't even know if the game would even be playable without making the character in the first place. So at the very least, it's kind of up there. And again, this is one of those reasons why having a voiced character is actually really good. Because as we saw just a little while ago with the main character talking to the head chief of the Hunters Guild, we saw the fact that he had a legitimate conversation with him instead of just the guild master kind of being there giving dialogue and everything, just giving so much exposition. It was the character actually asking questions, actually trying to say some things here and there. That's why I think makes this game a lot better than some of the others from the past, even in the world. Because with World, yes, you did have a character that could technically um, interact with a lot of different people, but it wasn't really much through like your own words. It wasn't really much through like how do I say? It was more of the characters either seeming like they know what you're gonna say, or it was the handler actually talking on your behalf. Which another reason why the handler was fantastic. And in this one, they also give you a handler. It's just she's not called handler. She actually has a name. And not only that, but she also has more of a background story than the original handler, which, again, fantastic. We actually get somebody else to come along with us that is more than just the palico. Somebody to actually have a conversation with and actually listen to extra dialogue for. And, I never had an issue with the handler beforehand. It's just this one now, she actually, how do I say? Well, like I mentioned, she has more of a fleshed out backstory. She was in school. She was trying to learn how to be good at what she does, and she even trained under somebody who was kind of renowned. Not only that, but you also have was it Gemma? You also have the blacksmith, her, the one who throws the weapon. You have her, who also has a backstory, who also has this huge fascination, and it's not just a dwarven handler who has a fascination with making tools and everything. You don't just have a old man whose job or duty has always been to make weapons for guild members of the village. No, you actually have somebody who has gone into training, who has studied a lot of these things, and when they hear somebody renowned, they actually have an interest. They actually show that they care about what's going on in the world. And it's not just, oh, okay, yeah, I just do this thing for the people of my guild, of my village, and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, no, what you have going on is fascinating. We're just gonna get back over here. So yeah, a lot of the characters in this seem a little more fleshed out. They seem a little better because they actually have a little more backstory. That doesn't mean that the old ones are bad. I still enjoy the old handler and everything because she was sweet, she was nice. Honestly, she was quirky. And that's kind of what I enjoyed about her in the game. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up here in just a moment. But before I go, let me say let me say just a few more things. One, the characters in this, they're fantastic, and I can only hope they're gonna get better with more customization things coming down the line. Like who knows, maybe we're gonna get some more hairstyles, maybe we're gonna get some more cosmetics. And that's actually one of the things that I want to see nearing the end of this. I like I said, I haven't finished it. I'm gonna enjoy finishing it. But one of the things I really hope that I can see later down the line in the game is that they still have cosmetic armor come back, which we already have a few. If you bought the deluxe or the premium deluxe, whichever one it is, you already have the option to have two of them. I can't remember what the first one is, but the second one is like a set of armor piece of samurai armor. And yeah, I know that right now we have that. But as far as what I know, or as far as what I've seen, we haven't we don't have anything else. And that makes the whole entire thing a lot harder because I want my character to look good. It's just the fact that the stats and the offense that goes into some of these things aren't all that great. And that's why I liked about the other games the fact that you're able to have like a set of the best armor out there that had extremely high defense and everything, but you could kind of like have something over that. Like, instead of just having the final boss armor, you could have it show like you're a Rathalos hunter. But as far as I've seen, there's not too much of that right now. I'm hoping that it does come later on in the story from where I left off. But if it doesn't show up until later on, or even the DLC or anything like that, I'm not gonna be too hateful. I'm just gonna be sitting here patiently waiting. Maybe I'll do some more hunting because, of course, even though they're gonna be more of decorative armor and everything, they're still gonna need certain monster pieces. So at the very least, I can go around, do some hunting, and then try to do that. But yeah, for the moment, at the very least, everything seems like it's really well, like it's extremely good and everything. So I'm gonna keep playing the game on a second, on a second character, just so that way I can have something to talk about. I have something more to do in my free time. My main character, as you see right here, I'm gonna leave him alone until either I can work out the kinks for multiplayer, because me and my friend tried to do multiplayer yesterday before I went to work, and it was a disaster. We either couldn't do it, or it was the fact that I wasn't a high enough level to where I could join him. And even then, I have no idea how to bring somebody else into the world that I do. And there was a few connection issues. I don't know why, but yeah, for some reason, every now and then it would say it would lose connection to the servers. Go ahead and pause that right there so that I at least know where. So yeah, hopefully next time when I do another review on the game, maybe when I bring somebody else in, um, maybe then I can actually give a little more in depth about it. Maybe then we'll actually hear that there's been addition to the story, that there's been a little more added, and we can actually talk about that as well. But as for right now, yeah, I'm gonna leave this where it is until we can get to a point to where I can play with friends and then use my main account for that. So until then, I'll see you all later.